Hey you guys, back with the 2004 Saturn VUE project with the wheels. Yeah, they changed a bit since I finished the last video. I'm adding red accents to them, but it was such a disaster getting them set up due to the issue that I went through where I was taking the tape off and it was peeling the paint, and I wondered if it was me. It actually was not my prep work. I don't know if you can see this, how metallic-y that is. What was letting go is apparently the paint, powder coat, whatever in the heck it is that they use on these wheels, the silver, was separating from the primer. So the OEM Finish on the wheel was separating from the OEM primer. And since it happened on all four, it wasn't just that one wheel was maybe redone and was done improperly. Something was wrong from the factory, and would probably be something that would never turn up, except that I went so deep into the finish trying to correct problems that, I don't know, maybe, I have no idea. Anyway, because it happened in some places, but it didn't happen in other places where I did repairs. So I honestly don't know why it happened where it happened, but I don't know if you remember from the overview video, one of these wheels was delaminating. So there's the potential that because it was on that seam over there on the edge of the rim in this area, the rim part of the wheel, the lip area, you know, on the inside edge, that it where that transition was potentially a failure point. Either it was too thin, too thick, somebody didn't sand properly, could be any number of reasons why it failed there. But it did fail and peel at those areas more significantly than any place else, as well as on these edges of the spoke where I had issues of it delaminating and peeling as well. So I'm chalking it up to a factory defect. Everything I did held up perfectly. But because of all that drama, I went and taped everything up and shot the red on the inside of the spokes. And today I'm shooting everything black. So it's actually going to be a two-tone. So now is the black layer. And the effect I'm hoping to achieve, these are the looks. This is what it would look like from the side, because I'm painting the inside of the spokes, or the edge wall, however you want to say that, of the spokes red. And that is how it will look from the front, or when you're facing the wheel directly. So that's the plan. I'll actually do the unmasking on film so y'all can see it. Terrified, but it's okay. After everything peeled last time, it's got me a little gun shy, so to speak. This is what I used. It's actually a gloss red, a lacquer, because as I was explaining to you before about how long enamels have to sit between coats, I'm just making sure the tape is fully seated before I start spraying. The problem with it being hot here in Georgia right now. Anyway, I wanted to be sure that we didn't have any issues of checking or things outgassing, as I was explaining before, so I went with the lacquer in the red. Dude, I'm so spoiled with duplicolor. I do not at all like the way that Rustoleum sprays. I do not like it. I do not like the color. As you can see, it did not come out the same color as the cap. It came out kind of a ketchup orangey red. Not happy. It'll look fine with the black when it gets done because it'll be so mild. I just hope that there's no issues going forward. It did want to check in some places, and I can only assume that has something to do with whatever OEM used, reacting to the lacquer, or the lacquer was reacting to it. Not really be visible, so I'm not redoing everything over them. All right, let's get on with the painting. I didn't film the red was because everything took so long to get it prepped and ready and taped up it was dark, and I didn't think shooting this on video in the dark with a headlamp would have come out well. So y'all get this today instead. Remember a light coat, and you notice I have that Rustoleum cap covering the center section so I don't get any excessive amount of paint in there. Can I say right now, duplicolor for the win. I'm just so spoiled. I love the way it sprays. I love the way the nozzle works and feels in my hand. Anytime I spray, it's always duplicolor. So I guess I've just gotten accustomed, used to, however you want to say, spoiled using their stuff. That's going to be my light starting tack coat. I'll check back in with y'all in a little bit as I get further along. Last coat of black. I'm going to try and shoot this guy relatively wet so we get a nice smooth finish for the clear to go down on. Part of me is not wanting to use a clear. I remember how much of an issue it was to get a nice smooth gloss finish. And I left this cap off the center part just to make sure that I got at least a pretty finish for this last coat. There we go. Not too terrible on the texture, it doesn't look like. This area is what perturbs me, trying to get in there and make sure that it's nice and glossy. I'm so nervous to spray the clear. It looks so good right now. I don't know why this clear refuses. Look at that. It's not even glossed out like the black. Okay, I'm not even pleased with that gloss at all. I'm gonna see if it was because it didn't like laying down. I'm gonna have to lose these guys. Not what I wanted to do. Yeah, it's doing that where it looks like it's furry. Let's see if this fixes it. I switched cans, thinking maybe it was a can problem. I haven't sprayed the other wheels yet because if this one doesn't come out decent, it stays all furry, I'm not doing it. It's like I can't keep it wet enough for it to not do this damn dry spraying crap everywhere. I don't want to run it, but my gosh. See, every time I go back to correct an issue, I'm gonna have to hope like crap that wet sanding this works. I mean, it got some of the gloss back, but it is not as glossy as the others. Again, it's got that weird furry texture-y stuff on it. Yeah, I'm not, that's it. I'm not. Forget it. Not doing it. Not doing it. That's this stuff. I don't recommend it. I really don't. In fact, I'm taking this other two back. I'm not using them. And I don't want to put any more on there. I'm gonna have so much coating on there, it's not gonna be good. I'm gonna let that flash off. Sorry, we're losing the light. See how much better this gloss is? I don't have any of those weird spots everything is glossy. I can't beat it on the other one. I just can't. Everything I try and do, it creates a dry spray. However it's aerosolized, I don't like it. I'm gonna leave it alone. I don't want to spray any more on there. I'll wet sand it and hopefully get the gloss back out of it. I will do the unmasking and show y'all. All right, you guys, hopefully you can see this with the headlamp. It took a little bit of time to untape all the others. Since this is the one with the heaviest coat, I waited till last. Hopefully y'all can see enough of this with me doing the headlamp, but I wanted to give y'all at least a little bit of an unveiling. Okay, the big thing with this line tape when you're taking it off, this is that 471 stuff, just a very fine version, is you have to make sure you don't peel up. You've got to peel it against itself, and it is having some issues because of how thick that clear got. So it's a good thing I'm peeling it when I am, and that I didn't put any more layers on because, yeah, let's see, you want to do it back against itself. You know, I was trying to spray a little bit heavy in order to get it to gloss out. Yeah, and it was just causing more problems than it's worth. So, again, I do not recommend that clear. Go with your standard clears. I mean, heck, I would think even the engine bay clear would be better. Now, I've not used any of the wheel coatings from the rest of the line, so I don't know if it's just something's changed in all the duplicolor clears. I've never noticed a clear doing that before, though. There we go. I should have just left it alone with the black like I did the others. I'm glad I left the others alone. This will get wet sanded though, and hopefully I can bring the gloss back out in it. Okay. Alright, there were some issues with some of the other wheels. I will do a better overview when it's not the middle of the dang night. But there you have an idea. Looks like I pulled it off pretty well. Better yet, I'll show you him. He is the one with problems. See our little friend? I'm gonna have to get some black with a brush and very carefully do that and blend it in. And I've got an issue over here where you see that little bit of trash. A lot of trash, but anyway, it decided it wanted to peel there. Same thing up here. Same problem as before where the factory coating let loose. Anyway, any of these weird little red lines that are where the two paints join together, the back and the front, and I have some overspray left, all that's very easy to just touch up with a brush. If you do it right, you won't even notice, especially on a joint like that, which is why I chose to break it in that spot. But again, this gives you an idea of what I was going for and how it came out, and the fact that we put the plugs in there. I did not get a buildup of paint. I will still probably go back to where the lug nut seats and knock some of that down. But you see here we got a nice clean, I didn't get a bunch in here, but this is all shiny and nice. I will be doing the caps soon. But at least there you get a good idea of the finished project. There is the other one. And he's got a few little spots, I don't know if that comes out on film, where the tape had a pocket in it. These guys came out quite acceptable considering this is all just spray paint and Hail Mary concept. Oh, turn, rotate. There we go. He had an issue right there. Same type deal, but it's right on the line, so I can just plop some red in there and that'll visually disappear. Look how nice that finish is. And it's going to be even nicer when I do a little bit of experimenting to see if I can cut and buff on it and get a little bit of the residual trash out. But considering what these wheels look like, so I've essentially duplicated a custom $1,300 wheel-ish. So anyway, that concludes it. I will do an overview video again in the daylight so y'all can see, and of course when they go on the car. But I got to get a tire for that one. I've already been pestering my mechanic about it, see if he's got a used one. Since these are already used, I don't want to mix and match. I'd rather run these until I can get a whole set in the right size. Right now my distributor is on back order of the size that I need. So, all right, y'all, take care.